Haven't been around for a while, been busy. Hey, I'm Dr. Nan. I'm a religionist, ancient historian, and mythologist, and I teach in the College of Liberal Arts. There is a stream of what I call fundamentalist atheism in the US. They can be very vocal, and a lot of them are wondering why religion is still a thing. It doesn't make sense, it's irrational, and they tend to be very insulting about it and reductionist. Dawkins especially loves to talk about how smart he is, and then he reduces all religious people down to people who believe there's an old man in the sky who cares about whether or not their steak is done properly at the restaurant or something ridiculous like that. Fundamentalism is always bad. Fundamentalism reduces things down to the thinking of kind of a 5-year-old. And our language tends towards that. It's polarity. It's black and white, this or that, good or bad. And yet the human experience is always gradation. 100% this or 100% that is not typical. So first of all, I want to address, why are we still religious? Very smart people, all men, as far as what's on the record, Freud, Durkheim, Fraser, Dawkins, have all predicted the end of religion and the end of irrationality, except the religious impulse is hardwired. It's part of our experience and it's in our brain. Whether you like it or not, you have a religious impulse, and it may not be directed toward religion the way it's commonly understood, but it's always there. Now, you may want to argue with that, except for as far as we can go back. We see people short-circuiting the mystical experience. Peyote, ayahuasca, LSD, ecstasy, MDMA, licking a toad, eating a mushroom, wine. These are all intoxicants that help get you to that mystical experience more quickly. Other ways that we short-circuit the body: dehydration, exhaustion, dreams, dream states, sweat lodges, things like that. These are all things that are meant to bring on the religious experience. Now, again, how we define religion is really difficult because there is no single definition for religion that scholars have come to agree on. Not all religious people believe in God. Not all religious people believe in traditional religion. And once you start talking about what religion is made up of, you start finding really interesting things falling into that category. Capitalism is a religion. Atheism becomes its own religion. So people who are religious are not ridiculous. They are not irrational. And in fact, many of them are good critical thinkers. The human experience is irrational. If your goal is to make everybody rational, number one, what rational is up for debate. Number two, if you think for 1 minute that just because you're in science or philosophy makes you 100% logical and objective, that means your biases are running rampant without being questioned. If your devotion to atheism and the scientific method or philosophy is such that you are being driven passionately in that direction without questioning it, that's a religious impulse, I would argue. The human experience is difficult. It is complex. It is irrational. And for those of us who seek comfort in religious ideas, spiritual ideas, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the human experience. The question becomes, and this is for you as well, all of you atheists out there, does your belief system push you to be a more loving, more compassionate, kinder, more inclusive person? Does your belief system drive you to be more forgiving? Does your religious system make you better? Or does it support your reasons for hate, your reasons for prejudice? Does it support your negativity? The religious impulse, if not pushed towards deity or the numinosum or whatever you want to call it, can be geared toward economics, politics, and even science. Science can also be created in irrational ways or interpreted in irrational ways towards prejudice. Social Darwinism, and don't tell me, well, they weren't really scientific. That doesn't count. All kinds of BS has been done in the name of science, as well as in the name of religion. People being experimented on without their consent. Animals being experimented on in incredibly cruel ways in the name of science. People being mistreated in the name of science. You can twist scientific logic to justify sexism, inhumanity, homophobia, transphobia, etc. It can all be twisted towards prejudice and hate. So if you're out there wondering why people continue to be religious, if you're out there worried that people are, in the words of Carl Sagan, clutching their crystals, it's okay. Because a lot of critical thinkers, a lot of scientific thinkers are also religious. There is something mystical in the world. There is something beautiful. And just because you can explain it doesn't take away from the beauty of a flower, or the joy of new life, or the love of your dog, or any of those things where you find great joy. In fact, I find incredible joy, and dare I say, a mystical experience when I learn about astrophysics and black holes and gravitational waves. And it's all explained and there's math behind it. That doesn't make it any less amazing and inspiring to me. And why? Isn't that the hardest question, including for science? Why? What's the point? So what? So all I'm really saying is, Before you judge, take a look in the mirror. And before you spew venom and vitriol, seek to understand the other side, the other people, and their story. And don't reduce them all to the simplest, most ridiculous explanation that's in your own head, because then you too are guilty of willful ignorance. Till next time, keep asking questions, be nice, and I'll catch you later.